Hey guys. Um, so I did go to two comedy shows this past week. Um, Wednesday night I went to the Imperial Steakhouse. I believe that's North Park, and show is produced by Karla Amador. Nice place. Kind of dark, but it has some really good food. I got the steak bites. I got the steak sticks. I got the chicken wings with barbecue flavor. Really good stuff. I did notice that for the setup for the comedy show, you do pretty much have a flat stage um, close to the middle of the floor, which is an empty floor, which could also be viewed as possibly a dance floor. Um, Now, what surrounds that dance floor empty area in front of the flat stage? You do have like a bunch of bar stools right by the bar, which is at the edge of this flat um, dance floor. Um, then you do have like seating booths, seating booths all across the wall, along the wall. A lot of these seating booths, um, there's like no like individual tables, so these are all like dining booths and stuff, and there must have been at least five, six, or seven of them along the wall, and they were pretty much adjacent to the flat stage along the wall. So you do have a lot of room, so comics can actually just walk around with nothing interfering in their way while they're talking to the audience. Sound stage was right behind the flat stage. I think the guy who runs it, his name was Max, I believe. Um, so yeah, that was pretty fun to watch. Carla started off um, the show. Um, she talked about Mercury retrograde, the solar eclipse, feeling a little different. Talked about texting because texting and mistakes was kind of a theme to it. But yeah, I would say she did pretty well. Crowd was kind of chill at first, but then a lot of people can relate to texting and stuff. Um, and then everybody is aware of the solar eclipse, so that was pretty fun to watch her up there. Um, I would say overall she was an 8 out of 10. Um, then we have uh, I think it was um, I think his name was Tyreek Joseph. Uh, Guy was pretty cool. Um, he actually sat on my table actually, and um, he did talk about some dating, um, and there was some stuff that was kind of relatable. But he was doing pretty well for some parts of his set. Um, but also a lot of times during the set, the crowd was kind of chilled, and they did laugh a few times. But um, overall, I would say Tyreek Joseph did. I think it was like maybe 8.1 out of 10. We also have Delina Horchata. She went up. She did kind of reference Point Break with Heath Ledger and Keanu Reeves. I think that was kind of new material because she was asking about that before the show. So she wanted to try something. Um, I mean, I'm always a fan of new material. So Delina's set was alright, kind of chilled for most of her stuff, but it did get some good laughs a few times during her set when she was up there. I would say she was a 7.8 out of 10. Um, I believe there was a guy by the name of Nick May. He went up. I thought he had something that was kind of funny. Um, I don't know if it was more related to like the countryside, um, countryside, or something about cowboys, or just kind of having that Texas accent. um, but he did all right. I would say he was an 8.2 out of 10. Um, then I believe we have, um, I believe it was, I think it was Bretta Di Dio. She did talk about having an accent, talking about guys, mistakes she's made over the years. She did talk about she just doesn't want to be on the dating apps. Um, she she did talk about this one quote. She had to criticize it. It's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Apparently, according to her, that guy must have been, uh, might have been an idiot, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, she was really funny. I think that might have been the best one of the night. I think she was 8.6 out of 10 for her set. Um, I believe there was an Ezra. Ezra was up. He did talk about how he was turned down by a homeless woman. Um, Someone thought that he was homeless. Um, so he had a lot of great stuff. Apparently, and the crowd that was there, they were just eating it up, including myself. I would say he was an 8.6 out of 10. Ezra and Umbretta were the best ones so far of the night. And then the last person I believe to go up was um, Mimi Harris. She wanted to try some crowd work. She did talk about Boston and Pacific Beach. Um, but crowd was like mostly chill for her set. Um, but it was enjoyable. I could relate to a lot of things she was saying. So I would say she was a 7.5 out of 10. Um, there was a couple of open micers. Max also got off the sound and he tried his hand at open mic. And then there's this old guy who talked about grasshoppers and crickets. Went to a bar and the bartender would tell the grasshoppers and the cricket that we actually have a drink named after you. And then I guess the cricket or grasshopper said, "You have a drink called Bob." Um, so I got some laughs actually. So overall, great show. So the show is actually every Wednesday night. So if you have time, check it out at the Imperial Steakhouse in North Park, very close to University Avenue. Um, I don't know how I did not find out about this place before, or seen it before I even knew about comedy at that place. So yeah, hopefully some more great shows are coming on Wednesday nights there at Imperial Steakhouse. and have a good time with that. Next comedy show I went to was um, it was Bob Hansen at the Mic Drop. He was headlining the Gold Room. Um, that one was a great one because Jesse Egan was on it, Mike Vin was on it, and Sapna Iyer was hosting. So you're in for a great treat with these comics. Um, Sapna Iyer, she started off with the hosting and she did some of her jokes. A lot of stuff was pretty um, regular material she's done so far. She might have threw in maybe one new joke, um, but the crowd liked her old material. It still works. Crowd liked her a lot with her Dr. Bit, going out to eat, talking about how there's a stereotype about her uh, her husband eating more spicy stuff than she does, but they assume that she does because she's Indian. But she did talk about dating a white guy. She did ended up talking about um, going to a Super Bowl party, but then there was commercials about ask your doctor about this drug, and then everybody looks at her, and she says she doesn't know. Um, there's this thing about TikTok, um, putting on makeup in her prom. Where was she during this time when she was at prom because she didn't know to put on makeup on, and she looks like Heath Ledger in the Joker, Batman. uh, so a lot of great stuff. Crowd liked her a lot. Um, I would say it was a 8.7 for Sapna. Next, I believe we got Mike Vin. He kind of had one new joke, um, but the rest of the material, I think it was stuff that I've heard before, about being a stepdad and getting things and shaking things. But it still works. People were laughing. Um, I would say it was an 8.5 out of 10. Then we got my first time seeing this guy, Jesse Egan. Guy was super funny. Talked about Hawaii. Talked about how drivers in Hawaii, I guess the tips are included in the fare, but then when you compare it to being in the mainland, United States, and then you have drivers complaining about not having tips, and then Jesse basically had one tip for the driver, saying like, you should go drive in Hawaii. They are included, because apparently when there's tips already involved, they make no effort to make this an enjoyable trip because the tippers are included, versus drivers here in America on the mainland, they actually need to, you know, make the effort to get those tips. So, anywho, um, Jesse again was pretty funny. I would say he was an 8.8 out of 10. I really enjoyed the set. Then we got our main event, our headliner, Bob Hansen. Great guy. Apparently he sprained his ankle, but he still is kicking. Always liked that he always can bring the energy, the hype up. He ended up doing his jokes and then talked about him being a pro wrestler before. Um, kind of shared some deep stuff. I liked how, you know, they kind of make it relatable to the people. He had a joke about the pro wrestling. He had a joke about I think he talked about his dogs, and then um, talked about doing comedy. Um, I would say, yeah, Bob Hansen was a 8.8 out of 10 for his comedy. Overall, great show. You guys really should go see Bob Hansen live. Also, Jesse Egan. Also see Mike Vinn, and definitely see Stephen Iyer. Um, so yeah, those were the comedy shows. Um, I am going to do a part three. Um, it's going to be talking about WrestleMania 40. So stay tuned for that, guys. And the saying goes, boom. Tiggy Maximus signing off, baby. All right, talk to you guys soon.